Hey y'all, welcome back to another Monster High ranking video. Today we are going to be doing kind of a different style than I have done before. So if you haven't seen this series on my channel, it's a series that I've been doing where I take a character from G1 and G2 of Monster High, then I look at all the dolls produced for that character, and then I rank them based on my personal opinion. But today is a little different because we're not doing just one character, but a whole conglomerate. I have actually done a video for every character that has enough dolls to merit their own video. So today we're going to be ranking all of the Monster High Mansters, all of the boy dolls, because most of them, actually I think all of them except maybe Deuce, but most of them did not merit their own video, so I figured I would just do all of the Mansters in their own video. So this is kind of fun. It's part 1 out of 2 of the kind of conglomerate finales, so the next one will be all of the miscellaneous ghouls. But yeah, today we are focusing on the Mansters. As I said, it is just my opinion, so if you guys do disagree, that's totally cool, and I would love to hear your rankings in the comments down below. But yeah, that is what we are going to be tackling today. If you guys do find yourself enjoying as we go along, if you could give the video a like, that is very helpful to me. And if you're new here and you like what you see, maybe subscribe for more. But yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a longer one. A lot of my more recent ones have been super short because there's only a couple dolls for those characters. So this is going to be a little bit longer, so let's just get into it. So for those of you who aren't familiar, the tiers that I use for these rankings are perfect, good, good but not for me. That one's for dolls that I can objectively say have a good design, but I just don't really personally vibe with them. Then we have mediocre, bad but it gets worse, and burn it. So to start off, we have Slow-Mo from the Love's Not Dead 2-pack. We already talked about Ghoulia, but yeah, we're looking at Slow-Mo, and I don't know, he's giving very t-shirt suit vibes just because the top is not super detailed, right? It's not clearly got a different collar. It's giving printed t-shirt suit vibes. I'm sure that that's actually just a quality thing and not that they actually were trying to go for that, but it does look like that to me. The brain bouquet is kind of cute thematically. I'm not really a big fan of Slow-Mo's overall design though, if I'm being honest. I don't know, just his face sculpt isn't for me. I'm gonna put him solidly in mediocre, because I do think that there's at least some theme and some design there, but I'm not really a big fan. Okay, then we have got a couple of more Slow-Mos. The one on the left is Student Council, and then on the right we have Ghoul Spirit. They look very similar. Realistically, these didn't necessarily need to be 2 different releases. Purple shirt, blue pants, black shoes, just kind of a different length of pant. Obviously one is shorts, one is pants. Yeah, these are very, very similar. I think I like this one on the left a little bit better clothing-wise, just because I find the print of his shirt pretty interesting. But I like the hair on this one better, I think. Oh gosh. I think I'm gonna put these both in mediocre also. They're not bad to the point where they make me react negatively, which I feel like they have to be to go any lower than mediocre. But, they still aren't good to me. Ooh, okay, then we have Porter Geiss, and I think that, I'm gonna say this preemptively, I think that this is my favorite male doll Monster High ever created. I still don't have him in my collection, but I would love to have him if I could get, a good price for him, you know? I just think this is so fun. I love the skin tone and the shoes, and, the hair is so cool. All of the spray paint with, the canisters. I love this. I think that this is really fun. I think that this has a clear design and an interesting design to it. I feel like this has a lot of the detail that the Slow-Mo dolls were missing, and I really, really appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead and put him in perfect. Okay, next up we have Nathan Rott, and I actually used to have this doll, and I did end up selling him. He's very unique and kind of interesting, but at the end of the day, at least now, I wasn't really connecting with him anymore. I do think that, the unicorn zombie is an interesting concept. I think his unique face sculpt is really, really cool and fascinating. I like the unicorn horn. I think what really took away for me is the color palette being, the 3 primary colors. It's just really basic, I guess, and distracting, just in the particular tones that they chose. I think you could definitely do that color palette in a fun and interesting way, but this just didn't read that way to me. And I also didn't like the fact that his shoes and his hat were just pretty plain. Overall, I'm gonna go ahead and put him in good, because I do think he's one of the more interesting Mansters, so even though I did end up selling him, I feel like he's not that bad. Okay, then we have Manitor, and I feel like this doll is fairly popular among people who like male dolls, but I have to be honest, I just can't really get behind it. I feel like he just looks so aggressively plastic. Like, some dolls, obviously they're made of plastic, but like they don't look super plastic. He looks aggressively plastic. Like, his skin is super shiny, not because it's thematic or part of the design, but just because it's like a very shiny plastic, and like his hair's molded on. And I don't know, I get what they're going for, but I also feel like it's just so bland. Like, he's just got a t-shirt and jeans. This could have been a really cool design, and I'm low-key hoping that they produce another Manitor doll in G3 that is like a little bit more interesting, because I just feel like this could have been so much more than it was. That being said, I do know, again, this is pretty popular with some people, so I'm going to go ahead and put this one in good but not for me, because I do think it's better than the slow-mos. It's not for me, but like I can understand why people enjoy that one, because it does have a very unique sculpt. Alrighty, then we have Kieran Valentine, and this is this is funny to me because I feel like if I had been ranking these as a teenager, he would have been automatically perfect just for the sake of being a vampire. He's got like that kind of edgy gothic look to him. Yeah, teenage me would have really been obsessed with this. And honestly, I still like most of the design. I think I would prefer that he didn't have pants that were like tucked into the boots. And I don't love the hair. I think that the hair just doesn't look very well executed on this doll. Like, something about the length feels kind of awkward. Overall, though, the design is quite solid, and there is a decent amount of detail. I feel like a lot of the Mansters got a lot less detail than the ghouls did, which is a shame. But I feel like he's got a decent amount of detail. I just don't feel like I can put him in perfect because the hair is honestly unbelievably distracting to me. But he is going to go in good. Okay, then we have the original Jackson. And I get it. Like, I understand, but he's so boring to me. I feel like people really like Jackson Jekyll, and it's not that he has a bad design, I just find him very bland for the Monster High universe, and I understand that that's probably the intention because, like, Jekyll and Hyde, like, he's the more human one, but he comes across as, like, a little bit bland to me. Pretty much right off the bat, this one's gonna go in good but not for me, because he has design, and I know that people like him, but I don't know. Maybe in another doll line I would like him, but just not in this one. Then we have Picnic Casket, which I think was a 2-pack with Jackson and Frankie, it looks like. This one I like a lot less. I like the yellow glasses, I think that's cool. But the cut of the hair, something is very off here. Like, something is just not quite right. And then the outfit, I just feel like is not as cohesive, doesn't look quite as good. I'm gonna pop him into mediocre. Okay, then we have a couple of different Jacksons. So we have the Save Frankie on the left, which if you have seen these before, I hated that whole line. I just think it was so bizarre and dumb. I didn't like it at all. And then we have, I think, Gloom Beach. Yeah, Gloom Beach. Which is funny because the Gloom Beach doll actually featured in a very old video that I did now of me roasting the worst Monster High dolls. So that gives you a short version of my opinion on it. Let's start off with the Save Frankie one. I just really dislike this. This whole line was awful, and maybe I'm not being objective because I'm looking at it as part of the Save Frankie line, but I just think it's so terrible. So I'm actually going to put that in Burn It. And then, to be fair, my roasting the worst Monster High dolls was supposed to be in, like, good fun. Like, it's supposed to be kind of comedic. I do think there are good elements to this. Weirdly, I don't hate the hair, and I think the color scheme is good. The flip-flops are cool. My big critique was that I thought it was so weird to be wearing, like, a cut-off button-up shirt at the beach. Maybe it's not that weird, and again, that video was supposed to be pretty comedic. Overall, though, I don't necessarily know that this reads like a beach doll. I'm gonna put him in good but not for me, which is a very high ranking for a doll that I considered like one of the worst. I can't stress enough that that was like funny. But yeah, I feel like people probably like this doll and he's got good details. I just obviously don't like him. Okay, then we have Invisibility from the Mall Monsteristas. I don't know how to feel about this. The slick back hair is kind of interesting, and I like the shirt that he has. The pants are really boring, and the boots, the tucked in to the boot I feel like it can be done really well, but it just doesn't look right with the proportions that they're giving some of these characters. I'm gonna pop him into mediocre. Then we have the new Manster invisibility. Much better, I think, than the last invisibility we just looked at. I just think this design is a lot more cohesive. I love the beanie. I think that's really cute. The color scheme really works. His pieces are, again, as is typical for a lot of the Mansters, fairly basic when you compare them to the detail and like the specialized prints that a lot of the ghouls got. But I do think that this is pretty solid. And I'm actually going to go ahead and put this in good. I don't think that I would purchase him, but I think that the design is solid. Okay, up next we have Hoodooed Voodoo, and I really want to like this one. I think the idea of a voodoo doll and like a voodoo doll character is so cool, and I feel like you could take that in so many different directions within the realm of Monster High. But I feel like Mattel kind of saw this as, oh, we'll just make like a little plushie and call it a day, and like that's it. I feel like he could have been executed in a much more interesting fashion than he was. So like the design is cool, but I just don't think that the execution was given the detail that he probably deserved. And I don't even know how people feel about this, so I don't know if I could put it in good but not for me. I think I'm going to put him in mediocre as well. We are putting a lot of dolls in mediocre, but I just feel like the design is so cool, but I wish that it had been done a little bit differently. Okay, then we have Swim Class Holt, and I feel like this is probably a controversial opinion. I don't like Holt Height's design. I just really dislike it. I feel like the skin tone with like the cool and like the warm of his hair could be interesting, but something about it is just really jarring with the particular colors that they chose. The tattoo, I'm just not a fan of that particular tattoo. Like, it's not even face tattoos. You can do those in a cool way. I just don't really like this one. And, yeah, I do like the detail of the, like, vinyl flame on his shorts. I feel like a lot of the sculpting for him is really cool, but he looks like a person I can't trust. This is turning into another roasting video. My bad. I'm gonna say good but not for me, because I do think that Holt has a fan base. And again, like, it's not for lack of detail, I just find him kind of unsettling. Okay, original Holt, very similar vibes, although I do love his little chameleon. That is so stinking cute. Don't like the purple pants. I feel like that completely doesn't match at all. Also, does he have like an aggressively more saturated skin tone in this one? I feel like he looks so different than he did in this little one. Maybe that's just the picture that I have, but I think I'm going to put this one in good but not for me also. Because I just really do feel like there's huge Holt fans. I just can't get behind it. I'm sorry. Okay, then we have Hezekiah Steam, and he's giving similar vibes to Manny Tor in like the aggressive plasticness of him with the plastic mustache and the molded hair. I do like the prosthetic hand. I think that that's really cool, and like the steampunk design to it is very well done in my opinion. I feel like the top half of his outfit has more detail than these shorts. The shorts are not looking good. Something about that just feels like the fit is completely wrong. I like him better than Manny Tor, though, if I'm being honest. I don't know, he's kind of cool. He also has the mustache, and I feel like you don't see that a lot on dolls. I'm gonna give it to him. I'm gonna put him in good. He's growing on me. Okay, I don't know why I didn't crop Abby out of this. That's actually really gonna bother me. Okay, that's better. Anyway, this is Heath from the Home Ick, I think. No, Classroom. I don't know if those are the same, if I'm being honest. This is probably also an unpopular opinion, but I feel like he's kind of an inferior version of Holt. Because they both have the same sort of thing going on with, like, the flamey hair, except his is so much more poorly executed. I do like the yellow skin tone better. I think that it just matches better. But, like, at the end of the day, I really do feel like he's just kind of the inferior version. I should disclaim for anyone who doesn't already know this about me, I never saw the original show, so, like, I don't have any attachment to any of these characters from the show. Like, I might like some as dolls, but I don't have any show attachment to them. So if I'm insulting your favorite character, it's not because I think he's a bad character, because I don't know anything about it. I just think design-wise, he's kind of inferior to Holt, so he's going to go mediocre. Then we have the Ghoul Fair Heath, which is pretty much exactly the same except even less detailed, so he's gonna be our first one to go in bad but it gets worse. Then we have Gil from the Love on Wheels pack, and I do know that there's a lot of fandom hate for Gil. Again, I haven't seen any of the show or the movies or anything, but I've heard things about Gil that are less than favorable, so this isn't a reflection on his character, but I do think this is a pretty solid design. If you have seen these rankings before, you know that any of the like roller maze or any like skate themed dolls that they did, I usually hate the helmets, and I don't know why, but I feel like the helmets were so bad. But his is actually really good. I like his helmet a lot. I think the goggles are kind of funny, but like in a good way. The theming overall I think is really solid, and the color scheme is really good. So again, not about his character, but I do think this is a solid doll, and I'm going to go ahead and put him in good. Okay, then we have got Shriek and Skull Shores Gil. Shriek on the left, I believe, and then Skull Shores on the right. I think that's correct. If I'm wrong, just let me know in the comments. His fin looks really weird here. I think like something about the color change between these two. On the left, the scales and the fin looks like he has just like one pathetic hair just flopping over instead of like a fin. But this outfit is so superior. From Shriek having the little like eye patch on his goggles, that is so funny and so clever. I love it. I feel like the prints are really good. His necklace is really cool. If it weren't for the weird like fin situation, I actually think I would put that doll in perfect. So he's gonna go in good because he's demoted a little bit for that. Then this one, honestly, just completely mid. I get the whole helmet thing, but I don't feel like it looks super good, and his prints and everything seem a lot less exciting on this one, so he's gonna go in mediocre. Okay, then we have Dance Class, and then this I think was like a 2-pack with Deuce on the right. I'm not sure which 2-pack. I'm sorry. My like names for these get cut off and I forget over time after I've prepped them. These are both just like different iterations, I feel like, of the Skull Shores version. Like, they don't look different enough to where I'm like, wow, this is new and exciting. They just feel like something that I've seen before and didn't feel much about, so I guess these are also both going to go into mid, or mediocre. Then we have Garrett. I don't know if it's actually pronounced Garrett. I'm so sorry if I'm wrong on that. Oh gosh. I used to really, really, really love this doll. I used to desperately want this doll, but the more that I've looked at him, the more I'm kind of like, he's fine. I think the top half is really cool with the leather shirt, question mark, and the scarf. I think his hair is fine. His face is pretty nice. I like the wings that he's got, you know, being a gargoyle. The shoes and the pants, harder to get behind. I think it's mostly the shoes. Because, like, the jeans could look okay, but something about the color of the shoes is just, like, vastly unappealing to me. I'm going to put him in good. This is another one that's going in good that I feel like teenage me would have put in perfect, but I've grown and changed. Okay.
Not the Love Nikki notification. Bruh.
Finnegan. I have so many feelings on Finnegan because I think the concept for this character is so cool. I think this is so fun. And I also know he is in G3, so I'm hoping for another G3 doll of him because I feel like the concept is amazing and the execution just is not what I would have wanted for him. Like, again, he's suffering from that very, very plasticky looking plastic. I feel like the fin hairstyle, I don't know if it's like the height or something, but like it just feels a little bit off. And I wish his tail were more detailed or more interesting. Again, I am obsessed with the concept for this character, and so I think that that's why the doll is a little bit disappointing to me because I just wish he had gotten like a little bit more special attention, if that makes sense. Like, the goggles are really sick. Those look cool, and his whole wheelchair looks really awesome. I think the doll itself is just a little bit more boring than I would have wanted it to be. He is going to go in good, though, just because the concept is so cool, and he does have a lot of detail in, like, his accessories and stuff. I'm just hoping that if we get one in G3, he's, like, a little bit more, you know? Okay, we still have a ways to go. Next up is going to be Dracula. I would have been so excited for a Dracula doll. I love Dracula. I love vampires in general. This is not what I wanted. And I think that I'm more disappointed in him because he's a character that I could have been really excited to see, and I just don't like the design that they gave him. So he's going to go in bad, but it gets worse. Okay, so then we are getting into some Deuce dolls. We have the original on the left, and then on the right we have Welcome to Monster High. I don't know, this is probably controversial, but I am not obsessed with the original design for Deuce. I love the scales on his arm. I think that that's super cool. I like the whole head sculpt and the chain and the pants. Honestly, it's the shirt. Like, it's not even the vest, it's the shirt. I just don't like it. I don't know if it's the color or the design, but that's what's throwing me off. That's not enough, though, to rank him super poorly, so he's going to go into good. And then Welcome to Monster High is vastly inferior. I don't really mind the sculpt and like the snakes and everything in this rendition, but I think that the outfit is pretty horrendous with like, it's all printed. The boots, again, just look weird to me. I don't know why. Yeah, that's a rough one. The more I look at it, the more I don't like it, so he's going to go and burn it. Then we have the Deuce from the Gale 2-pack on the left, and then Scarce on the right. The 2-pack is actually kind of sick, except for the glasses. Those don't fit the vibe, I feel like. I love everything else, though. He's going to go in good, also. And then as for Scarce, he's fine. There's not anything that I can pinpoint that I'm like, this is what I don't like about him. Except maybe the loafers. But I just can't get behind it, and I don't know why, but I can't. So he's going to go in good, but not for me. Next up is Ghouls Alive. Looks pretty much like the original, except a little bit uncanny, because all of the Ghouls Alive dolls I feel like looked so weird. Yeah, I don't know. For me personally, they just look a little bit uncanny. He's going to go in mediocre. Because, like, the design is fine, but something about his head just looks off. Okay, then we have on the left Boo York, and then on the right Dawn of the Dance. The Boo York Deuce is my favorite Deuce, and again, one of my favorite Monster High Mansters. He's on the shelf behind me. I love this design. The bronze glasses and the bronze... I just erased the other one. The bronze glasses and the bronze boots, the, like, snake leather pants, this super cool sweater with the snake print around the, like, collar. This looks so cool and is so detailed. Both dolls from that set were absolutely gorgeous, but this is a standout Deuce for sure, and he is going to be going in perfect. Then, as for this one, I honestly never even knew. I don't think that he existed, and I'm not a huge fan. I think if he didn't have the vest with, like, a hood, question mark, it would be a lot better. Because I do like the tie and the green shirt. I think that looks good. His glasses look cool. His pants are fine. The suspenders are kind of funny to me. But wow, that vest is really throwing it off. I feel like people probably like this one, though, so I'm going to put it in good, but not for me. I'm just getting that feeling from him. This is, like, an unpopular opinion of mine. Alright, then we have Claude, who I believe is the last character we need to tackle. And I will say, because the G3 Claude leaked, I think that that Claude looks significantly nicer than a lot of the G1 Claudes, so I'm sorry in advance, I guess. But, yeah, this is from Winning Werewolves, and I just feel literally nothing. I don't think it's great, though. Like, look, the pattern doesn't even go to the back of the shirt. I honestly feel like I would have given him mediocre if there was at least quality there. But he's going to go into bad, but it gets worse. Then we have the Wave 2. This was the 2-pack with Draculaura. I'm blanking on, like, what the name was. I can't remember, so I'm sorry. Draculaura from this line, beautiful, gorgeous, one of my favorite Draculaura dolls, and I only, like, in the past year managed to get her into my collection and was so excited. She didn't come with Claude, and I didn't even care, because I just don't really care for this Claude. I think if it weren't for the hat, he would look a lot better, but all I can think about is High School Musical when I see this outfit, which, like, isn't even an insult. It's just that I don't want to see Monster High and think of High School Musical. But I do think that people probably like this, so I'm going to put him in good, but not for me. Then we have the Sweet 1600 Claude, and I think this is probably my favorite Claude. I forgot about him. It's been a while since I prepped this video. I forgot about this one. He looks sick. I love the colors. The boots are so not it. I don't know what was happening with the Manster's boots in Gen 1, but, like, they just are not looking right to me. But the top part, this is cool. I just feel like it's different and fun, and I appreciate that. And I feel like his hair probably needs a bit of a restyle, but I think it could be really nice. I'm gonna put this one in good. He can't get to perfect because, like, there are a few things that I'm nitpicking that I don't like, but he's good. Then we have Scarnival. I don't know. This one makes me feel weird. I just don't like things about it. He's gonna go in mediocre. Okay. Almost there. Music Fest. I honestly low-key like the hair. It's very much not something that I think would look good now, but I think that at the time this doll was produced, this was like kind of a vibe. The outfit is super boring though. The shutter shades are so funny to me. Like, shutter shades. It's funny. Very much of its time. That one's gonna go in mediocre. For better reasons than the last one. Like, the last one was like a low mediocre. This one's like a high mediocre. And then we have Pack of Trouble, Claude. I have no idea what's happening with his hair. His shirt is fine, but the detail doesn't go to the back, which is super irritating. His legs look so tiny. Yeah, again, mediocre. This one, again, is a more low mediocre. But that is all of them. Okay, we've finished all of the Mansters. So this is the final ranking. It's about the spread that I expected, if I'm being honest. I knew that there are only a couple Mansters that I feel really strongly, positively about. But honestly, not as many that I, like, despise as I might have thought. I just think some of them are really, really bad, but most of them fall in this kind of mid-range where it's like, oh, they're fine, or, like, they're good, but they're not perfect. So I feel like this isn't that bad. This is a pretty solid ranking. There's also so many more than, like, I thought. Like, I knew there were going to be more than my last few videos, but I think it's just been so long since I've done a proper long ranking video that I was like, wow, these just keep coming. So that was kind of fun to get to do another, like, longer video with you guys. But yeah, that is going to be my ranking. So as I said earlier, I would love to hear what your rankings would be in the comments. I know it's kind of a long one, so if you kind of want to just, like, pick and choose your favorites and least favorites, I get it. Or if you want to leave me a huge comment with all of your rankings, that's great too. Like, I'm happy to hear from you guys. I do hope you were able to enjoy, and I hope we're looking forward to the last one in this series with all of the ghouls that will be coming fairly soon. So yeah, just a lot of things to be excited about. But yes, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.